Sports, and we'll start off with the game of golf and a couple of different stories that have emerged surrounding not only the new league in Saudi Arabia, but one of the players that's been rumored to be involved with that. But first, this does have to do with Saudi Arabia, at least it appears so. Today, they're taking part in the TPC Potomac, and on the 10th hole, Wells Fargo Championship at the TPC Potomac, Sergio Garcia, what?
No, we were just talking about this. I didn't know there was one of your deal. That's awesome.
Sergio Garcia was hitting his tee shot, went way left into some grass, got into a dry creek bed, couldn't find the ball, and he couldn't find it in the allotted time. And that's when the big argument ensued, was that he said that you started timing me before, because there's like a shot clock basically to find your ball once you start looking for it. And I guess they told him that he had violated the time. And he got angry because he said that they started timing him before he had actually started looking for his ball. So, I mean, whoever you want to believe on that, whatever. But he couldn't find the ball in that time frame, and he got a penalty for it. And he clearly was not happy with that penalty. The rule is, by the way, you got 3 minutes once you're in the vicinity of the ball to find it, and then if you don't find it in 3 minutes, boom, there you go with your penalty. So he got timed out. He didn't find his ball in 3 minutes, argued that he hadn't started looking for it yet, and no matter what, he got the penalty for it. So then that's where the story actually starts, really, is that he was then overheard on video saying, "I can't wait to leave this tour just a couple more weeks until I don't have to deal with you anymore." And that obviously raised a lot of ears in the game of golf because, of course, there is this new Saudi Arabian league, and, players are supposed to seek releases, which I'll get to in just a moment. There's not a full field that's been released by the new Saudi Arabian league as far as, who all is going to be actively taking part in it. Some have let known that they've looked for releases, but what are your thoughts on Sergio getting overheard saying, "I can't wait to leave this tour just a couple more weeks until I don't have to deal with you anymore"?
We didn't know this was going to be a part of your Off the Radar. I was playing the audio off of a clip that I saw on Twitter. And what did you say, Paul?
It would be like if I had to go to dinner with Ted Cruz and he canceled. But great, no problem.
All right.
I mean, who cares?
And Armstrong said, okay, it makes it more watchable. Sergio Garcia, he's won millions and millions and millions. He won the Masters, which was massive. That was huge. He won the Players' Championship, and he also was known early on as that swashbuckling Spaniard. He hit that shot up against it like a root of a tree, and it was great, and he's a hell of a player. But there are times I forget he's still playing. With not being mean, there are times I still forget that he's on the tour. So if he leaves, it'll be like a tree falling in the forest.
Never been a fan.
And that's not what I was happy about the Masters.
Yeah.
I know. There's certain guys you like, you don't like.
Seeing the reaction from most people, some people say, what, is there not going to be a clock in the new league? So you don't have to worry about that. Some people say, hey, you haven't won a major in 10 years. Who cares? There's a mixed bag, but, there are Sergio Garcia fans, apparently. But, I think that the most that I've seen is kind of like, well, see you later.
Don't get pissed off at the tour because you hit a bad shot in the middle of absolutely nowhere where the weeds and the whatever's up into your waist. Don't get mad at the tour. You hit a bad shot. You're mad about hitting a bad shot.
Yep, so that was just of interest because of what was overheard, and everybody that's a big golf fan obviously is trying to figure out what's what with this new league and with the PGA and how all of it's going to look. So now, you could put a check mark next to Sergio Garcia as potentially joining the new Saudi Arabian league.
Dan Rappaport, who covers the tour, Sergio Garcia declined to speak with us. Very intimidating reporters to address his "I can't wait to leave this tour" comment.
Yeah, well, I guess that's just even more of a sign that he's probably leaning in that direction. Speaking of the Saudi-backed golf league, Lee Westwood, formerly a number one at one point in time, he told Sky Sports that he has requested his release from the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour to play in the first Golf Invitational Series next month in London. He is 49 years old and said that... was something about the Ryder Cup, but he has made it known that he is going to be playing, or he's at least requested his release, which then lets you know that, he's probably going to be playing in this league. So there's another name for you, Lee Westwood.
It just looks like
another older player, never has won a major, really good dude, has been in contention, has a chance to make a ton of more money, although he's already made a ton of more money.
Well, and taking out the Saudi aspect of it, But I will say this. It seems like this league is built up of guys who are not old enough to really be on the senior tour, but not, you're not banking on them winning any more big-time PGA events.
Yeah, so he's let it be known that he's requesting a release. Phil Mickelson has let it be known, and Robert Garrigus as well. Those are the only ones that are confirmed as having requested their release. There have been over 200 registrations per the their spokesperson, basically, and Greg Norman now, right? I mean, he's basically the mouthpiece for it. So he said there's been over 200 registrations, but it'll be a 48-player field, 12-man teams, 54-hole event, no cut, shotgun starts, and we'll see how the rest of the field fills out. But there's another little candidate for you. And speaking of Phil Mickelson, there's a new book coming out on Phil. And there was a really interesting excerpt that was released from this new book. Alan Shipnuck is writing the book called, I don't have the title.
That's the one who came up with the quotes that started all this.
Yeah, but he's got the book coming out, and so what he's been doing, basically, he's got a website, Fire Pit Collective, and he released this big, long excerpt from one of the chapters today, and that chapter covers the fact that apparently, or according to Alan Shipnuck, Phil Mickelson lost more than $40 million over a 5-year time period from 2010 to 2014 in gambling losses. You can read the full excerpt. It's basically like a full chapter that you can go over there and read, so I can't really summarize it, but it will be released on May 17th. That's when the PGA Championship will be taking place. Phil Mickelson is the defending champion of that tournament. He has not indicated whether or not he will be looking to return to defend his crown or not, but obviously there's a lot going on with Phil because of all the Saudi Arabia stuff once again, but Shipnuck does get into details. He gets into the break from his caddy. He gets into, just how much Phil was gambling and things like that. Is this something that you guys find of interest as golf fans, or is this something that you are kind of like, well, that's his business and we don't really need to know that?
It's filled in a pretty large blank for me on this as to why you could be. I mean, the PGA, I understand that the PGA Tour doesn't do exactly right by everybody, but for Phil to be so mad at it so rapidly after maybe the first year of his career where he was universally lauded. He was always popular with a lot of people, but last year winning the U.S., winning at 50 years old, that was huge. That there was, everybody was kind of happy about that. It was amazing. Even people like me, I'm a never filler. I was like, man, that's pretty awesome that a 51-year-old guy is winning a major. And then all of a sudden, he's just got all this vitriol for the league. Well, look, if I was down $40 million and the Saudis could make that up in a month, I'd be like, I get it now.
Oldest man to ever win a major, PGA Championship is what it was. And that's why he's supposedly coming back for Southern Hills this month. There's never been any kind of secret that Phil Mickelson loved to gamble. Never been any kind of a secret that he loved to wager on whatever in sports. He has made in his career, though, probably well over, I don't know, a couple of $100 million, maybe $500 million with endorsements and winnings. But it doesn't surprise me he's lost that much. Charles Barkley is a well-known guy that's lost a ton of money and admits it.
Michael Jordan was a known
and
gambler.
My God, even the rumors of the death of his father.
Charles Barkley had an SNL sketch called Barkley Financial, and he said and the joke was, I'll either double your money or lose it all.
Barkley's great, man.
I'm going to look up really Phil Mickelson's wealth.
It does mention in this excerpt from the book, it says, Mickelson's love of gambling is fundamental to understanding his style of play as a golfer. It might also explain the Saudi seduction. Based on his comments to me, he clearly enjoyed the idea of sticking it to the PGA Tour, but the real motivation was plainly the funny money being offered by the Saudis. And it gets more in depth to it. Again, you go to Fire Pit Collective if you do want to read this excerpt. But the reason why this $40 million got out there was because there was investigation ongoing, Billy Walters, insider trading and all of that was going on. And the government was auditing, and they did a forensic examination of Phil Mickelson's financials. And when they did that, the source told Alan Shipnuck that they found the $40 million in gambling losses from 2010 to 2014. That was just something of interest. And again, you can read more of that. And then there's plenty of Phil fans too who are like, oh, you're out to get him, and things like that. So it's just, eye of the beholder, but that was just, makes more sense, the whole Saudi side of things.
His net worth this year according to Forbes, is $400 million.
So he can afford to lose $40 million apparently and still be A-OK. Elsewhere around the